Hi guys, Reynol here. Today we're playing a really fun team in Arena. It is not designed to be good, it's really just designed to have unconventional fights, and we'll go in and try to tackle strong enemies as much as we can. What we are using is double tanks and Aranea. I remember in one of Cabbage's old videos, he said that he thought Aranea could be the sole carry of a team because she has insane damage. Well, we'll put that to the test. So we have Nasha, she's got 45 defense, 8000 HP, she's going to put barriers on herself, she's going to put courage on herself, and she's got pretty good resistances, especially the slash. So she is there to be a wall, but she still has 1000 attack, so she could do some decent damage in the right scenario. We've also given her the Odin Esper for some more accuracy, and the Odin Vision card for some accuracy as well. In terms of abilities on off, the only ability that I've turned off for her will be her TMR ability and Divine Veil, because I would prefer her using Immortal Spirit and Guardian Wall first. So that's what she'll be doing. And then we have Freyevia. She's also much of a tank in our setup. 26 defense, 26 spirit, 8.7 thousand HP, so that's pretty good tanky stats overall, but mainly 75% resistance to magic and 35% to slash. She is there to live a long time. In terms of abilities on off, well, we have put the Spellveil in her main job. Actually, I've turned off the Blizzard Blade because it's just not a great ability, and that's it. Everything else is on. She will then use her barrier first, which is what we want her to do, so there wasn't a lot of tinkering to do. In the White Mage sub-job, I have two abilities on. I have Curata, because it's a pretty good heal, and Full Life. Everything else is off. And then her TMR, I really love putting the Mashari TMR on her, because normally she'll put a magic barrier on herself. I will be targeting physical teams, so magic barrier is often not that useful unless I'm fighting Elena. So when she uses Knight's Blessing, when she's low on HP, she will use that before any other heal, and so she'll put a physical and magical barrier on herself, which will overlap and protect her a lot better. And then if she's close to other allies, she'll also give them that barrier, so we could have it on somebody like Aranea, for example, who does not have that kind of protection. So it's a really good item for her in general, and then, you know, freezes for some defense, and the Eternia VC because it's currently featured for bonus points. Otherwise, I would run freezes for the extra HP on everybody, but it's not bad. It gives slash resistance, it gives wind resistance, so it's a good alternative. And then finally, Aranea. With the setup we have, 54 defense, 8000 HP, 1200 attack. She is pretty bulky, and she still has 25% slash and 20% missile resistance. So she's hard to take down, but she's mainly our damage dealer with 1200 attack and all the crazy mods that Aranea has. The only ability we've turned off for her is Aerial Supremacy, because in the early turns I want her to use spells over anything else, and if we give her an AoE buff, well, she'll be doing that instead, so that would be a pretty risky scenario. So with that said, let's go in a fight. Let's begin our first match against this team. Now, depending on who faces who, it could go well or terrible. Ibara will probably struggle killing Freyevia, but will not struggle killing the other two, and then Duane and Elena will probably be able to kill just about anyone given enough time, so we just hope our Aranea kills them first. It is fun to fight enemy rainbow teams. I don't see those a lot. And while I'm running a mono-element team myself, it's definitely not a all-powerful ice element team, right? I'm running one MR unit, and then Freyevia is still, I believe, considered one of the weaker options compared to somebody like Vesalier or Velric, who are powerhouses of their own. So let's just see what happens. It just seemed very fun to me to be running a bunch of tanks and looking at that. So enemies use offensive buff. This Ibara does use her Man-Eater buff first, and I did watch a couple reviews, and basically everybody says this is a must for her damage. Without that, she is not going to do the type of damage you need her to, but with it, she hits harder than even the Black Rose, so that is very impressive. So here we go, we have Courage onto Nasha. She's staying behind though, which is not great for us. And then Grace of Eternal Friendship, so it's going to be hard to kill Ibara as well. She's definitely a tanky Ibara lady. So here we drop High Wind on Duane. That is probably not going to be a kill. Duane is really bulky versus pierce attacks, so even though Aranea hits hard, I don't expect him to die. Nope, not even half his HP, so it's actually a rather low damage attack. Then Freyevia takes the death side. She's probably not going to go down from that, but she's going to be forced into healing mode, which means she will sit next to our other friends. There we go. So now Ibara might be able to just go ahead and hit our Yeah, hit our Aranea, which would probably spell our defeat. Let's see what happens. So, the enemy team are walking around a little bit weird, and since Nasha used Taunting Blade, Ibara actually goes for Nasha. I'm not really mad about that. Nasha has 30 Faith, and then she also has a Courage, so it's not enough to kill her. She still has her immunities, and now Aranea is free to roam the backline. Now, enemy, wow, she laps us, goes for Freyavia, does barely anything, so far, so good. Freyavia goes back to healing mode, decides to heal herself, hopefully, because she's not going to heal Nasha a lot. And then Nasha uses the combat supercharge, gets some accuracy before attacking the enemy. Yeah, actually, I might turn off combat supercharge so she uses her barrier, because I would have loved to see her barrier here, much more than anything else. We one-punch the enemy Elena once, but she's still alive, and counters back with Prismatic Punishment. Now, here's an interesting thing about Ibara. She used a Blade Soul attack on Freyavia, because Freyavia is really resistant to magical attacks. So that is very interesting. I wasn't sure what sub-job she had, but that does seem to be paying off for them. So Freyavia, still able to tank, still doing fairly well in the face of the enemy Ibara, keeps herself healed up, while Aranea finishes off the entire enemy backline. And what's gonna happen now? Well, we still have hate on Freyavia, so she just keeps tanking for a while. Basic attack, it's still taking out one barrier onto the enemy Ibara, so I'm not complaining about that. Freyavia just keeps tanking for as long as she has hate. And then, wow, we took all the AP away from Ibara, so she actually can't use anything else. At that point, I don't think there's any way Ibara wins this, but let's see what happens. Late bash, hopefully we get the stun. There we go. That was pretty lucky because we only have, again, 30 Faith on Nasha. And it seems like we just don't go down in this fight. So Ibara loses a turn, and Aranea's finally here for the cleanup. Not enough for a kill. Wow. This Ibara is a lot tankier than I thought she would be. Freyavia never attacks in her team. It seems like she's in healing mode forever. But it is enough to just keep tanking, so that's fine. We end up taking Ibara down. Quite a fun match. Okay, let's fight another. This time, Double Lightning and Oberon. So I am expecting massive damage. Now, this Oberon has a wind-oriented VC, so he will not hit as hard as some others we've seen. But I'm still very curious to see that. Cloud could very well wipe us out, and I think we'll need 3 hits probably to kill Charlotte, unless it's Aranea hitting her. So depending on how this early turn goes, if we lose our main damage dealer early on, we're going to struggle, but I moved our Aranea in front of the enemy tank instead of the enemy damage dealer just to give us a little bit more of an edge. So there we go. They give slash attack up to Cloud. Now that is a scary thing. We get our Revitalized, it's good. Cloud is probably going to rush to our team, and then hopefully Freyavia puts on some hate before anything else happens. Okay, perfect. So she's got a magic shield. It won't help against Cloud, but at least she's tankier. We have Courage. Alright, we're as tanky as we'll be, unless for some reason Nasha manages to put on her barrier. So I guess we'll see. Okay, Oberon has bells. This team is taking a while to engage, but that's going to give us some time to hit the enemy tank, so I'm not going to complain. They've already lost half their HP, and then wow, Cloud wastes all his AP bar on Barrage, barely doing anything to our team. Definitely to our advantage right here. Blizzaga Blade does not do anything to Charlotte. She is very tanky against magical attack, but Taunting Blade with a chain starting to do a little bit of damage. So Charlotte runs back, puts Protect and Shell on herself, and deals a little bit of damage. Or is that what her limit breaks do? I've never actually used Charlotte, so I'm not that familiar. Okay, this one is just an attack and magic down, and then defense is up on herself. I knew it was some kind of defensive buff, but I didn't have the right one. Then Oberon decides to group with his team without his barrier. I don't think we're going to one-punch an Oberon, because he is a very tanky boy, but he definitely wishes he had his barrier up before we gave him that hit. So, there we go, now he does, but he's still within 1 hit of dying. And then Cloud, well, he's basic attacking because he used the barrage and wasted all his AP. So, that's pretty good. And now because Cloud moved there, Oberon can't actually hit both our Aranea and Freyavia, so he's forced to hit the one that has hate. I don't know if she'll survive. She does have a physical barrier she just put on, so yep, barely survives. So far, this tanky ice team definitely doesn't want to go down. We have a barrier on Nasha, so she's ready to survive a long time if she takes a couple more hits. And then at that point, Cloud has AP, but goes for the one with the most hate, which is now Nasha. So, yep, we are not losing anybody in these fights, it seems. Freya is gonna go to healing herself, goes back to 4,000 or so total HP, and then she is now harder to kill as well. And Aranea's back, hits Cloud once, he's a little bit weaker, takes a Blade Bash, and hopefully dies. Yup, there we go, Nasha cleans up. I am very interested to see this one. They have Elena, Yuna, Jayden. Not a maxed out Jayden, but it's still a very strong team. They have the right vision cards. They're going to do a lot of damage. But we do have a pretty bulky team, so the big question is, can we survive long enough for us to take out somebody? Because they're not that tanky, but we might struggle with accuracy, which is one big thing, and then we might also struggle with just the fact that they have re-raises and courages and etc. And outside of Aranea, we don't really have ways of dealing with that. So I guess it's a fight of the tankiness, and then hopefully Jayden wastes his AP on Freya without doing a lot of damage, but we are resistant to magical type attacks and not necessarily magical based attacks, so even his missile attacks will do decent damage onto her. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Barrier is here, he can break that though, and then we are rushing forwards. The re-raise seems to be on Yuna, so that's actually very happy for me. Yuna will struggle hitting significantly our team members, so it's the best one, I think, for them to have the barrier on. Elena will drop the entire Prismatic Punishment on Aranea. I don't think it's going to be a kill, but it will take us very low. So we'll need some heals from Freya to survive longer here. So there we go, that's done. Hopefully Jayden does not reach, but I think because of the hate, he will be forced to hit Freya. So there we go, 1200. And we have Regenerator. Okay, Freya is still looking very healthy here. Now, what's going to happen? Aranea is able to fight back, jumps on Elena. That's not a guaranteed hit, but it still hits. Does not proc Courage, however, so that is very unfortunate. So we immediately lose our Aranea right here. We do have access to full life, but because of how low the... Oh, actually, never mind. We're not in range. Even then, the chance of proccing full life would not have been very high. But there we go. So we kill Jayden once. Enemy team also has access to full life, so we might see Jayden again. And then, well, Elena is now back to full HP. So this is looking very grim. Uses Iridescent Blade, which does not do a lot of damage, however. And then Fleet of Foot, okay, apparently this enemy Yuna does not want to go and full life their Jayden friend. But we also don't want to help our Aranea, so this is going to be rough. I don't think our remaining members have the accuracy to fight somebody like Elena. I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll be surprised, but I think the only way we win this is if she's just out of AP and unable to kill us for some reason. So here we go. Enemy Yuna now gets to Jayden, so she did eventually manage to do something. We renew our barriers. Jayden actually disappears before he gets full life. I feel like when I'm running this team, all these matches are funny for one reason or another. We're definitely not a good team, but somehow there's really weird stuff that happens every time. This is looking like it might just become a draw because they can't kill us. And, well, you know what? I said that, but now I get the feeling that they can actually kill us. So I guess we'll see. Freya's gonna heal herself. This enemy, Elena, uses her AP, then generates some by hitting us with basic attacks, and then generates some more AP. And oh, at that point, we might be losing our Freya. Yuna drops another Bursting Light, pretty massive damage. We're gonna heal that back. Hopefully she's not healing. Oh, she's healing Nasha. That is very, very bad. Our low faith Nasha does not get a lot of HP back. And now, after 3 hits, Yuna might finally take us down. I guess this goes to show how tanky our team is, though, that it takes all that for them to just eventually take somebody out. So now, Nasha's down, Yuna goes one more time. They're just lapping us left and right with that extra agility. And we will die to this Shiva evocation, I think. I mean, we do have 70-something magic resistance, but I can't imagine us surviving with such a sliver of HP. So what happens? It is a kill. So there we go. They win because we can't hit Elena very well without our main carry. When I see Degen TP in Arena, I kinda have to target him, so we'll go ahead with that. Now, I did switch my positions again. We have Aranea this time in front of Yuna, and the main reason is I don't want Aranea in front of the enemy Starlit Elena. I don't believe we win the duel. With Courage, Elena will more often than not be winning, and they are very evady, so we'll struggle with hitting them, then they can heal and do a lot of other stuff, so yeah, ideally, I want Aranea to take out their healer, and then I can move on to other targets. So they have some accuracy up, it's not going to help them, but the slash resistance piercing will. And then Courage, so that's fine. I mean, we always know that an enemy Elena is going to use her Courage, so that is expected. Hopefully we'll use Equalizer to remove this. And then Starlit, wow. So Degen is using some strange arena strategies here. But Starlit, okay, could be useful in some matchups, will not be useful against us. Then we have our Courage, we have one barrier. Let's see what happens. Another Call of the Wild, so yeah, they're definitely not going to miss any attacks. And Elena begins attacking. I think she just dropped her limit break on Nasha. Nasha does not have her barriers yet, but she has 30 faith. I'm not expecting a lot of damage here. Yeah, so barely takes a little bit less than half her HP, then that's probably Re-Raise being cast, while we have Frost Arts on our Aranea. So what is probably going to happen here is the enemy Kilphe will move to Aranea, will not kill us, and then we'll be able to take them back out. We put some barriers back on our Nasha. Really good. I like this item on Freyevia because it transfers her magic barrier into a physical barrier when she uses that. Nasha misses the attack, that's bad, but she still generated hate from that, which is really good for me because now Aranea can do whatever she wants without anybody really targeting her. Drops the High Wind onto the enemy backline, and at that point, I'm feeling pretty confident it's going to kill the enemy Yuna. Drops Yuna, does not drop Kilphe, but gets close enough, and now Kilphe's forced to attack our Nasha. I mean, Nasha, with a physical barrier and all her defense, will probably lose half her HP at most from that attack. Yep, it barely does anything, but then they can chain on that. Nope, Elena goes back to Freyevia. We're really playing with hate a lot with this team, which is very, very funny. So we go back to healing Nasha. It's a low heal, but she took almost took that amount of damage from Kilphe's limit break, right? So for her, 2000 HP is actually quite a bit. Takes an Iridescent Blade. It does significant damage this time. She is starting to be weak. But let's see if we can kill this enemy Elena. Nope, we're just not in range yet. So this Elena just moves backward, protects herself. We're gonna heal Nasha again, but it will not save her this time. She is starting to be very low. Just misses, because unfortunately she had some hit chance. But it seems like we just survived Elena's entire AP pool. So we're gonna use Brandish, hit her once, then we're gonna go back to healing. Elena's still out of AP. This is a really weird end of a fight, but we will eventually finish her off. Equalizer does not hit, but removes Courage, so now she's one hit away from death. She still doesn't take out Nasha. Yeah, we're really being too tanky here. We're gonna use another heal, put Nasha back to some amount of HP, and then Brandish, hopefully, there we go. So finally, we defeat the Light Squad. This was definitely one of my most fun videos to record. I can't say it's the best team I ever created, it's actually more of a troll team than anything, but then again, I went against some pretty strong enemy teams and I ended up winning 4 out of 5 fights. So I'm really surprised by the team's performance. Hopefully this was entertaining, nothing really educative here, just some fun content. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.